DraftKings Daily Trot. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at tonight's 15-game slates here. Big boy, got Coors going on, but also some other offenses that are definitely intriguing.
Yes. Why, yes, sir. I do declare that this is a slate I quite enjoy. How was that? That's pretty good, right?
I just take drinks. That's when I use that opportunity to just get a drink.
No, I was saying that was a pretty good voice, right?
No, it was, but I'm just saying, whenever you break into voice, I just know it gives me a nice 10-second window.
Yes, it does, sir. My good man. Let's go get some barbecue, sir. Listen, guys, I've been to North Carolina now, so I know how the South is. Trust me.
Yeah, you're really deep in it.
I went to Charlotte, and trust me, it's just like the North. It's just like the Northeast in Charlotte, which is wild. It's just like Mass. It's so weird. So anyway, let's get into it. There's Rangers Yankees. Are you looking at anyone here, or is it kind of just? I think that the shine kind of wears off as you kind of get through more of these games here. You see.
Yeah, it's a game where I'm not really looking at any of these guys. For me, it's a stay away situation for as far as the Yankees side of things go. But Rangers, I think those prices. Beltry at 4K is cheap. Hoping it was a little bit cheaper. And same with a guy like Ryan Rua. I don't mind a punt option like Robinson Chirinos though at 2.8.
His last name sounds like a cereal.
Chirinos Flakes.
It'd totally be like some type of brand cereal that helps with constipation. Yeah, but we're not touching the Yankees with the lefty Cole Hamels on the hill, correct?
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No, but I do think some of those right-handed bats are viable for the Rangers. I'm not really looking at the lefties.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Chu with 3-1, they're obviously priced way down, but for me, I'm not really looking at them.
Yeah.
Next one here, you got the Mets and Nationals, Lucas Giolito and Matt Harvey. You look at some of these bats here. The Washington bats are priced entirely too high for me here to take a shot at Matt Harvey. I just think if I'm paying up there, there's far better options to do it with.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, well, you guys should watch the FanDuel one to see how I respond to some of these Mets prices. But I'm not really not in on the Mets tonight by any means. So I'm not really touching them. If anything, I'm going with Giolito as sort of a contrarian tournament play. But yeah, you can go Harper Murphy, but it's just there's such better upside on this slate, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And Matt Harvey, you said it, no slouch, but he hasn't been great this year. And obviously against the Nationals, hasn't really done that well either. So the prices, I was just hoping they'd be a little bit more cheaper.
Right. Like if Harper was 42, I'd be much more open to sort of throwing him in there. But I just think the Coors thing, and then there's like 3 or 4 more stacks that I like over the Nationals. So they're not really in contention for me.
No, definitely not. And as we stated, Mets players at those prices aren't really in play.
Right.
Next one here, you got the Cubs and Reds. John Lamb going against John Lester. For me,
Eef.
Yeah, you're looking at the Cubs here. Obviously Lamb 343 to WOBA to right-handers. Lefties have a 409 WOBA against him. So I don't even mind a guy like Rizzo, who's handled left-handed pitching really well. So, obviously you have Zobrist who hits from the right side. But overall, once again, 1 through 6 certainly in play here.
And they do make you pay. This one hurts. At least Bays on FD was still a bit of a value, but yeah, you're pretty much paying up hard for this stack. So if that's the way you go, I'm okay with it, but realize you're kind of killing your cap here. So you got to be looking at some of those value pitchers, but at the same time, gotta love the upside here. I think they're the third stack off the board for me tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely in agreement. They are first full option right behind Coors. Obviously, Brian coming off a monster night.
Monster.
Wilson Contreras, not quite the value play, but I still think he's in a great spot at 4,200.
That was kind of like you were I was your hype man there. A monster night, monster, and I was like saying monster in the monster, get him, Jason, yeah,
Were you
it was
still
what,
pumping the fist behind?
it was a monster night, wasn't it? Yeah.
The red side of things, I kind of like some of their prices. As weird as it sounds, I mean, Lester's
Yeah.
has been good, but I don't know. I just think there's some stolen base upside if some guys get on. Lester can't really hold anyone, and the Reds he hasn't really been great against the Reds. So I think there are a couple of one-off plays for some value GPP looks for me here.
Is that a cough, Billy Hamilton cough type of statement there? Are you positively subtweeting Billy Hamilton here?
No, okay, the biggest thing is him actually getting on base.
I know.
But once that happens, I mean,
Yeah.
there's stolen bases. I mean, there's there for the taking, and guys like Cozart, Votto, Bruce, Phillips, those guys, they're not slow, and you don't really have to be fast. You just get that jump off Lester, and you got a stolen base easily. So that's where I think there is going to be some trouble for Lester tonight. And with me believing that, it's hard for me to just write off the Reds.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And like you mentioned, the prices are pretty reduced here, so they're definitely viable. Again, I like Duvall just because of the power. But yeah, like even a Brandon Phillips at 26. I mean, if he gets on there and gets that stolen base, that's really all you need for the entire night. At 26, if he gets 8 points. So, yeah, decent value there.
Yeah, definitely. So I do think in that ballpark, I mean, obviously, I'm expecting some runs, obviously more so from the Cubs side, but I don't think you should write off the Reds.
Yep.
So Red Sox and Rays, next one here, you got Rick Porcello versus Chris Archer.
I'd be more interested in this game on a smaller slate or a less powerful slate, I guess. I like Ortiz as a one-off. I think you could see some power from him tonight, but other than that, you love the Red Sox. They have been slumping though, and it's not a perfect matchup for them tonight. So I'm not necessarily fading them, but I don't see myself getting heavily invested either.
No, I don't either. The prices for some of their bigger guys are still expensive. I mean, Bogaerts has come down a little bit. Archer's just too big of a swing and miss guy for me to take a lot of chances on. The Rays side of things go, those prices are enticing. And while I do like Rick Porcello over on FanDuel because of the price, I'm not using him on DK. I might sneak a few more Rays guys in here. Looking at Logan Forsythe, 3,100. Dickerson, if he's in the lineup, 31. Longoria, 34. Those top five guys all under 3,500 outside of Brad Miller. So I don't know. I mean, there could be something there with some value. I'm not getting crazy with it, but I wouldn't be afraid to shy away because those are quality guys in quality spots.
Hey, yo, Jeff, baby. Get in that lineup for 2K, my friend.
Jeff Decker. If you missed the Jeff Decker segment, I mean, he's a guy who was kicked out of numerous middle schools as a child.
Yes.
All he drank was 7-Eleven Slurpees. That's all he drank as a kid.
Yeah, he just bought one of the machines, or he stole it actually, and he has one in his apartment. Somehow he's 13 and has his own apartment. But yeah.
It's more of a like a parole office, if anything, that he's living in.
He killed the parole officer?
No.
Now he's living in their office?
Actually, that's where the story takes a darker turn. Yes.
Oh, wow. This got more extreme. This is a new level for Jeff. But yeah, he's 2K and one of those pure punts that you like on slates where you need to pay up for those 5K guys.
Yeah, definitely. And it's nice another slate where you can look at some punt options.
Yeah.
So, Indians and Braves here, Corey Kluber versus Matt Whistler. And obviously you're not looking at the Braves. I know their prices are cheap. I'm not really attacking Kluber.
Nope. Neither am I. I don't think. Yeah, you can't use Braves tonight. Just don't do that. Don't be the guy who does all the 1%ers, like who stacks the Braves just so he can be.
Is that because you're going to be that guy?
Yeah, don't steal my thunder.
You don't want to be. You don't want any competition.
I want to be mine. That's mine. Yeah. So Definitely not using any of those guys. I mean, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
Freddie Freeman might be able to get a hit or two, but I just don't see anyone else doing anything.
yeah. And going back to last year, Matt Whistler, 375 WOBA allowed to lefties, 1.71 home runs per nine. These Indians bats, I mean, outside of Kitness are at really nice price tags in Lindor. You got Tyler Naquin at 3,400, Doug Chisenhall at 33, Jose Ramirez 36. Those are great value plays on tonight's slate, regardless of being in the bottom half.
Definitely agree. I think you can go multiple different ways with the end of that lineup, and make some value at the sort of in between a stack or something like that. So yeah, definitely like those calls.
Yeah, they're really intriguing, and I do think they're kind of going to be cash game viable guys who kind of value around those bigger bats.
Mm-hmm.
So next game here, you got the Marlins and Tigers. Mike Pelfrey versus Adam Conley, and looking at the Tiger side of things, once again, they just kind of sit in that mid-tier price range that really makes them attractive options against a lefty with some blow-up potential.
Again, though, it's such a bummer. You can't really stack them, you know?
Now, you can't pull off the 1 through 5 because, Kipper and Martinez.
I guess you have to make your decision. I'd go Cabrera over Martinez tonight, but in the same respect, Martinez still strong value. But yeah, Castellanos, if you wanted to go Kinsler, Cabrera, Castellanos, I think that's a very, very viable move against Adam Conley.
Yeah, and the one thing, I mean, you can't – then you just sneak in an Upton if you're looking for that fifth guy if you want to do the complete stack. And I really don't have a problem with Upton's price tag one bit, 3,400. Starting to come around a little bit of late, showing some upside recently over the past few weeks. So that's a nice price tag for a guy with a really, really high ceiling.
Yeah, definitely agree there. That is a really solid value for him. So definitely some home run power from the 6th spot. So you got to like that.
Yeah, and Marlins side of things, they're priced up quite a bit against Pelfrey. I mean, you got Justin Bour at 5,100, a Prado 3.9. I mean, all those guys are really expensive. You look in the 3 outfielders all over 4,500. So for me, we're talking about the Marlins over on FanDuel being in a great spot, obviously, against Pelfrey. But for me, I think they rank a little bit lower here on DK.
That is hefty. I don't like those prices at all. And the one thing is with Pelfrey and sort of his last quite a few starts, he hasn't been giving up home runs. He's been getting chipped away at and beat up, but he hasn't been like the guy who gives up 3 or 4 home runs. So I think that's kind of a factor when you're paying 51 for Bour. If you're paying 51 for Bour, you want at least a homer, you know? So,
I want 6.
Yeah, so I mean, that's too much. That's just too much. I would pay that for Ozuna in a tournament, though. I do still like him quite a bit.
Yeah, him and Yelich. I think the outfielders is the more attractive trio in comparison to Bour.
Mm-hmm.
And Ichiro and Prado and kind of Dietrich. I think there's guys that kind of cheaper prices for me there.
Right.
So, moving on to the next game here, you got the Twins and the White Sox, Jose Quintana versus Kyle Gibson. And we're looking at the Sox offense here, and Adam Eaton's priced up much higher than what he was on DraftKings.
Not quite the discount that we got on FanDuel there. Still a decent offense, still solid stacking, but kind of a lot like the Marlins, actually. They're priced up to where it makes you think. It's not just like, oh, yeah, this is great value. It actually is like, this might not actually pay off at this salary. So I think it's more of a one-off type of lineup than an actual stacking lineup here. I think you can go stronger options.
The Eaton type throws me off as far as a stack goes, but
yeah,
he's obviously a viable piece to it.
Definitely like Melky. Tim Anderson's still decent value. So that's kind of what I'm looking at in that lineup.
Abreu 4,200 is a really nice price tag.
Yeah,
I mean, that's definitely low for what his upside can be against a Kyle Gibson who doesn't miss many bats.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like that call at 4,200 as well.
So I think everywhere outside of Eaton is kind of definitely playable. And I do think they are stackable. I mean, obviously, you're looking at the run total, they're pretty high. Nice ballpark. And Kyle Gibson's not really a strong arm. So for me, I mean, you take a look. Take a look. I mean, obviously the Eaton price tag kind of bites a little bit, but I do think they are playable.
Definitely.
So, twin side of things here, I'm not really looking at any names. I know there are a couple of righties like Plouffe or Dozier, Grossman that might catch your eye, but Quintana too strong of an arm. I like him too much tonight.
Yeah.
So, Dodgers and Brewers here, and we'll kind of kick things off with the Brewers. Their prices are a little bit high. I mean, Braun and Villar, really high consideration lefty. For me, it's super contrarian tonight just because there's a lot of other high-priced outfielders and high-priced shortstops to target. And Urias misses a lot of bats. Obviously, Miller Park friendly for right-handed power. I can obviously see it in GPPs. I'm not going to knock it off the table, but I'm not quite on them.
Home run power certainly there for the Brewers, and that's what we were focusing on FanDuel. But I'm not doing this. I'm not doing Braun at 48. I'm just not. So I'm taking the night off for the Brewers on DK.
Yeah, and Dodgers side of things, I mean, they are expensive going up against Anderson, who, yes, it's a great park. You look at some of those back end guys, you can get some guys for cheaper, but obviously Gonzalez doesn't have a ton of upside. I mean, yes, it's a nice park there, but he hasn't really been great. And kind of looking at some other guys, Pearson 4.9. I mean, yeah, the home run potential is there, but good God.
Jesus. Yeah, no. What the heck's going on here? Yeah, okay. So I think I'm gonna have a lot more fun on FanDuel tonight, that's for sure. But I mean, hey, I actually kind of like this from an ownership perspective because it forces your hand. There's no discounts. So I do like Seager. That's a tough price for him though.
Yeah, it's expensive, these guys, and I'm more so on FanDuel with some of these Dodger bats than I am here on DraftKings.
Definitely.
So, but you obviously can't knock him. Anderson's not a great arm, and Miller Park certainly enhances power.
Mm-hmm.
So, look at the next game here, and you got the Royals and Cardinals. And once again, I mean, you look maybe 1 through 6 on both sides. You got some really cheap options as far as guys go here against two names. They carry more name power to me than actually what they've produced of the season. I think you can kind of pick on a few in certain spots here.
Yeah, I don't hate that Matt Holliday price, 3,900, even Piscotty as well. So those are two guys I'm looking at there for the Cardinals side, but not looking at a stack, especially with Aledmys Diaz potentially being out. And hey, on the Royals side, I mean, Alex Gordon at 3K is pretty intriguing to me.
Yeah, him and Lorenzo Cain. I mean, both a combined 6.6 there. So
yeah, that's nice.
I like both those guys. I even like Whit Merrifield at 3.7.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with other options more than Hosmer, but I think he's obviously a name you can toss out because he's been strong against righties this year.
Yeah, I think you could throw that out there in your outfield, Merrifield, Gordon, Cain, and feel pretty confident. Maybe go high end at third or something and do. So I actually really like that mini stack in the front of the Royals lineup there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Vegas total, a little bit above average. I think it's kind of sneaky on tonight's slate. And as you mentioned, those price tags really are intriguing against a Michael Wacha that has pitched better this month, but still hasn't been, a guy to kind of shy away from.
Yeah.
So next one here, you have the Blue Jays and the Rockies, and a much easier night to kind of feel more comfortable about those prices as far as the Blue Jays bats go.
Yeah, give me Donaldson, give me Encarnacion, give me Saunders, and Carrera. That's my stack I'm going with tonight. So, and I mean, as you mentioned on FD, these prices are expensive for the end of the lineup, but I'm totally okay with them. If you want to get weird, Tulowitzki, Martin, Pilar, they're all in play for me as well. So those main four are what I'm going with, but again, all those guys are in play.
Yeah, I mean, Butler 368 will allow to right-handers, lefties 437. You're looking at both sides of the play here to do some damage.
Saunders, yeah.
And those guys are certainly in play. And I'm much more focused on the Toronto side of things. I mean, obviously the Rockies bats are in play. Once again, Adams at 2,200 is going to be a really good value. And even a Ryan Rayburn at 3.6, you get some of those guys who have the lefty-righty matchup there. And I'm not completely afraid of taking a Carlos Gonzalez at 4,500. I mean, that's a cheap discount for him hitting at course.
For sure. Lefty on lefty, but yeah, I'm not too worried about that for Cargo. 45 is a solid price. And again, Arenado, I mean, once again, I think he's behind Donaldson for me, just like yesterday, but I'm okay with it. Definitely down as a secondary option if you want to throw him in as well.
Yeah, I mean, $700 difference. I mean, it's a good amount of difference, but I'm with you. I like Donaldson a little bit more. I mean, Arenado's certainly in play. It's going to be one of those ones where I just kind of break up my shares when I'm making similar lineups there.
Mm-hmm.
So you can definitely stack away. Hap not a great arm, but he's been serviceable, kind of your average lefty. So I do think you kind of proceed with making the favorites there, the Jays.
Definitely.
Moving into the later games here, you got the Phillies and Diamondbacks. Gerard Eichhoff, Zach Greinke. For me, these prices of the Arizona Diamondbacks, I'm not particularly intrigued of. Given Jake Lamb is the same price tag as Nolan Arenado, I know it's a good spot for Lamb, but choosing him over Arenado is impossible for me.
Yeah, as I said, most nights I'm almost always intrigued by the Diamondbacks, pretty much regardless of unless they're facing an ace or something. And tonight, I just don't see the necessary upside that you're going to need in some of these games. So I'm not really touching Goldschmidt at 5. Bourne, like you mentioned on FD, is a solid value here on DK, but I'm not really going with Segura. And Lamb has really tough competition at third, so that's kind of what I'm looking at there.
Yeah, I mean, you got Bourne 3.6, you got Rayburn at 3.6. So, those Diamondbacks are priced in a lot of ranges of other guys, and they're not really projected to be a high-scoring offense tonight, even though they're in Chase Field and they do have some power. I'm not really on it, and obviously the Phillies against Greinke isn't really in play for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, next game here, you got the Astros and Angels. Scott Feldman versus Tim Lincecum, and you look at these Houston bats. I mean, a lot of upside, but a lot of high price tags.
Yeah, kind of a bummer. I don't think I'm going Houston tonight, even though, hey, you know what? If you do want to go that direction, go 1 through 4. I think there is a ton of upside. Sort of more contrarian upside, but there is a ton of upside for a low potential ownership.
Yeah, definitely. Those prices are definitely going to drive that down, even against Tim Lincecum, because they are priced against the Cubs in the Coors games. So I do think they kind of get mixed in and they're going to be overlooked. There is a lot of upside. It's not the greatest part, but you look at some of these guys, I mean, there's a lot of upside. And I think really 1 through 4. I don't mind a Luis Valbuena at 3,400 either.
Now, I'm pretty confident in that statement, but it would be a big bummer if, like, you threw in that stack and then they're like 15% owned. That would be like the worst case scenario, but they're not going to be. So
I don't think so either.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Angel side of things, I mean, I'm not really on them as far as an offense goes. I mean, obviously you can always look at Trout, but you're paying up for him. Cole Calhoun at 3.8 is intriguing to me leading off. I like his prices on both sides tonight.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So outside of that, I think overall on DK, this is a game that I'm kind of going to quietly just overlook.
Oh, yes. Look at this guy. What a champion.
A coffee delivery.
Yes.
Clearly, Russell Kelly has a much more higher salary here than he can afford an assistant.
Yes.
Well, I have to go drive out and make my own, and I don't have that luxury.
Yes. I feel almost presidential right now. That's how.
Yeah, well, whatever. Orioles and Padres here, and Yoel Jimenez, Eric Johnson, and I talked about it on FanDuel. I like this Baltimore stack quite a bit here. I think it is going to be a little bit overlooked. I think the one-offs are going to still carry a little bit of value as far as the ownership goes, I think in that 10 to 15 range. But against Eric Johnson, I mean, yes, it's Petco, but these guys can really tee off on him.
Yeah, I look at that Trumbo price, and I like that quite a bit. So even if I don't go the full, I'm probably not going to go Adam Jones or Machado or Chris Davis. You know what? I know I'm probably going to go Chris Davis in one lineup, but the Davis-Trumbo combo I like quite a bit. So, yeah, that's definitely something I'll be looking at. But other than that, they are a contrarian option, but nothing more than that to me.
Yeah, and you look at things here, and you look at Johnson. I mean, big time home run upside for a lot of these guys, even in Petco. You just look at Johnson, 259 home runs per nine to lefties, 375 WOBA to lefties. Since last year, righties 438 WOBA, 330 home runs per nine, in a small sample size, but there's no indication that he's been going to turn around or be anything better than what he's been.
Yeah, definitely.
So the prices are expensive. I like them more than the Astros. They're my favorite offense in that kind of late tier outside of Coors.
Mm-hmm.
So Padres side of things go, they're too expensive for me against Steven Jimenez, who I'm going to have a couple shots of as far as the price tag goes.
The big the Yang Gervis, not in play at 3,700. Remember how fun it was that week of just Yang Gervis batting cleanup at like 2,500, and he was just scoring. It was delightful, and now he's just way overpriced every night. So that's a bummer. But
it is.
yeah, I like Ubaldo, as you mentioned, as a tournament guy tonight. So I'm not really looking at this group.
No, and moving to the next game here, you got the Pirates and Mariners. And obviously, I think the Pirates side, with the way they're performing, can be kind of written off here.
The Hisashi Wishy-Washy Akuma for tonight. That's how I feel. Very wishy-washy, but I think he's a tournament guy, and I'm not really looking at any Pirates tonight.
No, and I think with John Neese allowing a 348 over to left or to righty since last year, 1.37 home runs per nine, you're looking at the Franklin Gutierrez, the Nelson Cruz, the Dayhole, the Chris Iannetta type guys here, the right-handers in this lineup.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I like that. As you mentioned on FD, can get a nice little four right-handed stack there. So that's pretty intriguing.
Yeah,
and as I stated, as some critics say, cool.
Cool. Very cool of you.
It's a very cool idea.
Next game here, we're going to the Bay Area. You got the A's and Giants, and Albert Suarez, Kendall Graven, two average righties at best. But for me, I think they kind of get lost on the slate. Some of the A's bats are a little bit intriguing. I mean, obviously, a Vogt at 3.4 is nice. I mean, they do come at a cheaper value, some of those A's guys, than they do over on FanDuel.
Yeah, I like Vogt again tonight. And Jed Lowry always makes me question whether I want to roster him or not. 2,700, that's a solid deal, even though, yeah. Chris Davis, I think, is worth sort of a, GPP throw-in on the outfield as a home run guy. But other than that, I think I'm probably taking the night off from them. Valencia third is just too much competition for him.
Yeah, it's the spot you're looking to kind of pay up at. And looking at the Giants side of things, prices, once again, those panic belt Posey prices are too high for me. And I'm not really looking. I think there's better value on the slate in comparison to the price ranges of the Giants.
Yeah, and the Connor Gillespie train hasn't been a fun ride so far. It's kind of like we only got three wheels, and you're kind of going off the road there. So that hasn't been too fun as the min price guy. So no thanks.
I think you were the only one who bought a ticket.
I was the only one on there, but I'm just giving the reviews back to the people here.
There wasn't anyone even on that train punching your ticket. That's how. There was no one on the train. You just got a free ride because it was just a train that was just destined to run off the road.
Yes.
That's going to wrap things up here with the DraftKings Daily Trot. Be sure to check out DailyFantasyCafe.com for all great tools and content.